Hey guys, Barking Madly here. Had a little story I wanted to try to run across you guys. It has a question at the end, which I think fits in with some of the discussions we've been having. If this sucks, and it very well might, I might not post this, but we'll see. Just a little caveat, I'm using, stuff from here that, amongst the sewing circle, just for the fun of it. No harm, no foul intended. So, anyhow. And since a lot of this revolves around stuff that shall not be infringed, talks about, he gets to be the protagonist. So anyway, Mike's doing his thing, driving his bridge machine around, and stops off in Indiana one day. And he's in there in an inconvenience store getting himself a nice frosty beverage. And on the way out, some guy's just kind of being crazy and starts handing out, Mega Ball tickets or whatever they are, for the lotto that night. And Mike normally wouldn't really give a shit. In fact, I would sincerely doubt he would ever even consider buying one. But because it's given to him and the guy ran off, he just, okay, what the hell? Fuck it. So that night he's sitting in his hotel room waiting for the next day's job. And wouldn't you know it, the son of a bitch actually wins. Like, I don't know, $150 million, some absurdly stupid amount. Mike being Mike, finishes up his job and drives on the way back up to his home in Mass. And here comes the second amazingly unlikely thing happens is a portion of New England decides to secede. We'll call it Mayhampshiremont. And Mike, with his newly flush with funds, decides he wants to stake a claim in this new republic. And finds the perfect place. It has oceanfront access, and even has a lake on the inside of it. And the only downside is that the lake that is on the property, he only owns half of it. But fair enough. He gets all moved in, house built, and all that other crap. And one of the founding premises of this new republic is property rights. You can do whatever the fuck you want on your property, which of course is why Mike decided he bought into this in the first place. So he's doing his thing, and like all other great YouTubers, he's decided he's going to start growing crawfish as well. Figures, one of the biggest solar-powered, crayfish breeding ponds you could ever get. So he's having at it. But wouldn't you know, the person that owns the property on the other half of the island is that fucknugget that was too busy paying money off to get his house too tall over in whatever the name of that property was. And so Mike's now got a neighbor. And in another bizarre happenstance, he happened to see one of Mike's videos where he was talking about the idea of building a 20-story building right on his property. He knows, that's what I'm going to do. But Mike, being Mike, doesn't give a fuck, and the other guy, fucknugget, doesn't give a fuck that Mike's great growing crawfish. So they go about their happy little way, until about a year and a half later, when everybody realizes that, of course, the fucknugget across the lake, being the idiot he is, hired Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Mickey Mouse construction, and that the building he's been putting up, in addition to being poorly built, the guy was always paying for too much concrete every time they were doing a pour, and when they had all that extra concrete, it was just getting dumped into the lake. Now, up until now, the crayfish had been doing really good, but come this one spring, all of a sudden, they're all tits up. Now, Mike's all confused. He actually paid to have some guy come out and make sure that the water was all right and everything was ideal, and it was. But he calls this fish and wildlife or whatever guy come back in to take a look at it. And don't you know it, the pH is all out of whack. And they track it down to the fact that Numbnuts across the lake has been dumping all that concrete in there, and instead of a nice pH neutral or whatever it needs to be water, it's now a pH of 8, which not enough to burn you, but nothing will grow in it. And here we get to the rub of the story. Because both sides can do whatever the fuck they want to their property, it's no big deal. But now Mike is left with, many thousands of dollars of loss, or however much, millions or whatever. And so he now has to sue Fucknugget for it, although because he's been paying all this graft and all this other shit, he's got no money left. So Mike's basically shit out of luck. But the fundamental question here is there a better way to do it? Now, some of you that had seen some of my other videos would think, well, maybe I'm interested in having some kind of EPA or something like that to prevent that. Now, quite clearly, if you saw the John Stossel video that was linked over on Sailing Manual's site. Sailing Manual didn't actually have it linked in his description, but somebody had pointed out. It's a little thing over. It's a Fox News thing called "Is Everything Illegal?" with John Stossel, and some guy was got screwed because he cleaned out a drainage ditch that the county hadn't bothered to. Got the approval to clean it out. The only problem is when he cleaned it out, the area that had been flooded drained out. And when he tried to build, the Army Corps of Engineers and said, you're building on a wetland. Here's a $30,000 or $300 or $3,000 a day fine, something retarded like that. So, is there a way to put together some kind of balanced or reasonable set of rules on there, or do you want to, or is the best way to resolve this after the damage has already been done? Now, granted, the lake that Mike's Lotto fueled crayfish spawning area, it can be repaired, but it's going to take several years and lots of money to do it. And so I just wanted your guys' thoughts on that, and see if there's a better way. 'Cause like I said, I like the idea of smaller government and all that stuff, and I like the idea of avoiding some of the absolute ridiculous bullshit that they do. But at the same time, I'm not sure resorting to lawsuits after the fact, after the damage has been done, is necessarily the right way to do it. Anyway, wanted your thoughts. Later.